storing your crypto on Tangem is a huge risk. This video is by far the most in-depth analysis of Tangem Wallet. Over the past 2 years, I've sold 280 Tangem wallets. This has all come through my YouTube channel. And you can see on the bottom left, there are 2 different sign-up codes. I've made 3 long-form videos about Tangem, 2 about the wallet and 1 about the ring. And as you can see in the bottom right, I've made a bunch of shorts, and actually the Tangem ring versus Ledger, Trezor, and SecuX video is my best performing video of all time on YouTube. With these 280 wallets, it estimates to about $15,000 in sales, as well as $2,800 in commission. The reason I started this whole YouTube channel is because I was wrecked on Celsius. And still, 3.5 years later, we're still receiving some funds back. The last thing I'd ever want is for somebody to lose their crypto due to poor security or poor business practices. So here's a breakdown of the top 3 affiliate sales from my 2 years on YouTube. As you can see, Tangem is far higher than all the rest. So I have every incentive not to actually make this video and to just be like most other creators and push Tangem products because they pay so well. And the biggest reason for me making this critical video is the new Tangem mobile wallet. This is a free hot wallet that's going directly into the existing Tangem wallet. Because I'm a Tangem affiliate who's made a bunch of sales, I was put into this private Telegram group. In looking at the left message, all you need to do is download Tangem app for free, and you can download a wallet. This is a free hot wallet, just like Phantom or MetaMask. And the right side message explains that this mobile version is expected to significantly boost conversion. So it's extremely clear here that Tangem is prioritizing revenue over security. And they couldn't have worded it any more clearly when they said those who would not purchase a wallet right away are likely to start using the app, where they will be regularly offered to scale up security. So if you download this free wallet, they're constantly going to send you messages inside the app to say, buy a Tangem wallet, buy a Tangem wallet. I'm curious if you can see the problem with this before I explain it. I followed this case extremely closely. Elipal probably had the worst PR experience any company could have, and that's when $3 million of XRP was stolen from a user's wallet. This was super recent, on October 15th, 2025. Elipal told Brandon LaRoque that if you type a hardware wallet seed into the Elipal app, the private keys are saved on your phone or tablet, turning it into a hot wallet. And more importantly, look at the right-hand side picture for a second. He says his iPhone app showed a blue cold view, while his iPad showed an orange hot view. So Elipal was using these color cues to tell you which type of wallet it was inside the same app. And because of this huge PR disaster, Elipal actually decided to remove the hot wallet from their cold wallet app. And we had Elipal David here saying it's the right decision. It shouldn't have a hot wallet function in one cold wallet app. Actually, some users don't know the difference between a hot wallet and cold wallet, and they confuse and increases the risk of being attacked. I mean, it just makes sense. Isn't this just obvious? Well, I guess not, because Tangem is literally doing the same thing now. After seeing this entire disaster, they're just going to gaslight everyone to pretend it never happened, I guess. This is all from Tangem's documents that I got early. No NDA or any disclosure on the information. This wallet will also store the keys directly in the phone's secure storage. And if you lose your phone, break it, or uninstall it, those keys could be lost along with any funds they control. Great. And they don't make you back it up. They say later, oh, maybe you should back up your keys. In the middle, we can see some UI designs. This feature might be out by the time you view this video. And the most crucial picture here is the one on the right side, where you can see in the red box that we'll be able to back up our account with iCloud. iCloud, I think, is not Tangem and is a third party. Should we be storing things with third parties? Probably not. And again, remember Elipal had the problem where they put the hot wallet and the cold wallet in the same account, just putting different colors to show the difference. Well, Tangem is doing the same exact thing. You can see in the bottom prompt, can I use both mobile and hardware simultaneously? Yes. You can manage multiple wallets in one app and switch between them. I mean, at this point, what could go wrong? And personally, I think this just comes down to investors demanding returns. Tangem raised $15 million in 2019 from Japan's SBI group. Now, fundraising in startups is completely normal, but they raised another $8 million in 2023, this time by an investment group called Shima Capital. And it's interesting that they state they want to accelerate our growth before they say they want to have secure digital asset management. So obviously their focus is on growth. But I'll pose the question, why does a company that sold 6 million products need to raise $23 million? We'll get more into that later. This point might wind people up, but you probably should know how overpriced this product is. Plastic is not expensive. NFC is not expensive. Secure element chips are also not expensive. And with simple maths, I'll prove to you that these cards are super cheap to make. Shop NFC is a generic NFC card shop online. And you can see for a minimum of 10 pieces, it's €1.29. But if you buy 8,000, which Tangem is definitely buying 8,000 or more at once, because why wouldn't you save on those costs? They raised all that money for a reason, right? It's only 37 cents per piece if you buy 8,000. And based on some research I did on the secure element chip, if you bulk buy the secure element chip, it can cost between $1.50 and $4 per unit. Putting everything in US dollars, we can take 43 cents plus $4 is $4.43 per card. Times the 3 cards that are usually in this pack is $13.29. That is huge, huge margins. If we take that 10% discount, $62.91, and we subtract it from the $13.29, we get $49.62 in profit. That is money. I just want you to think for a second. Take that $49.62 in profit and times that by the number of cards that they've sold. Now that is a big number. Now these massive margins allow Tangem to do things that other hardware wallet companies have no way of doing. First off is advertising. I don't know about you guys, but I can't go anywhere without seeing a Tangem ad. It's literally in my face 24/7, no matter what platform I go on. You can say it's my cookies, but I could say anyone who's looking at crypto stuff is also getting this. So first we have Google News, and then we have YouTube. And the interesting part here is that when you search Trezor, look at the first ad you get. Oh, Tangem. It couldn't be the same on Ledger, could it? Oh, wait, there's a Tangem ad when I type in Ledger? And in these advertisements, as you can see here, they use false marketing claims. We'll dive into this a bit more later, but one here is offline wallet, which Tangem is completely online to their app, so that's odd. And the one on the right is no app connections, but Tangem is only an app. It's not actually a device, so make that make sense. And lastly is the ad I see every time I open up my Gmail account. There's plenty more examples, and I'd be interested to hear where you also see Tangem ads. Now, I'm gonna make a claim that no other creator has made yet. And I just want to say this is a terrible, terrible, core-rooted problem in the crypto industry. And that's paid views and engagement. So for Christmas, Tangem made this holiday gift box thing. And for further proof that I'm actually engaged in a relationship with Tangem, they actually sent me one for free. You can see some stickers here. They sent a really ironic quote from George Orwell, which is completely hypocritical to what they're doing with Tangem Pay. And then you can see all the items in this box. And I think it was for like over $100. Tangem wallet, case protector for Tangem, a $5 water bottle, smells fresh like factory, and a tote bag. I want you to pay attention to the amount of likes here. So it has 1.9 million views on a holiday box unpacking. I wish I could get those views. And out of those 1.9 million views, we have 16 comments. And my favorite comment of them all is the first one. Guys, a 3-card wallet is around $50, but with some stupid bag and a bottle, you charge an additional $100? Seriously? Holy water inside? Bitcoins in bag? Don't you think this offer is a little too expensive? And it's a bit out of touch with today's economy because people can barely afford to pay their bills. So you think they're gonna buy a gift box with a water bottle and a tote bag? To make this clear, I'm gonna use the comparison of one of my favorite YouTubers, Jerry Rig Everything. He has 2.5 million views on this video and 86,000 likes. Going back again, we have 7,200 likes. Jerry Rig Everything, 86,000 likes. Well, Jerry's a more interesting guy. It's not a holiday thing. I mean, make every excuse you want because Jerry has 63,543 comments on his video. Oh, it's all bots. Well, I can get 16 comments on my videos when I have 1,000 views or 2,000 views sometimes. Please make this make sense. It's pretty obvious that Tangem paid for views, but this video wasn't actually where I first discovered Tangem was paying for views. It actually came from this Tangem Pay launch details video, and I have a plugin called vidIQ where I'm able to see more data through YouTube because I make YouTube videos. And vidIQ can show you the views over time for any YouTube video. What stood out here is if you look on the right side panel, the right column where vidIQ is, we have the views go up very sharply. They taper off, but then they go down. Well, when do views go down? That can't happen, right? Views can go down if they suspect bot behavior because they take those views away later. It's like the same thing if I watch my own video, that view from me watching my video will come off a few days later. So then I went down the rabbit hole and thought, maybe we should look at Tangem's most recent videos and see if we can get some kind of trend, because you could say, oh, well, this is just a fluke thing, right? There's no way that this could ever happen every time. Wrong. This happens almost every single Tangem video that I saw in recent time. The first top left one, we see the same behavior. We go up to 30,000, almost 40,000 actually, and then we come back down and we level off and it's still going down. The second one next to that, we have a straight up line. We come back down for some views and then go up. I didn't see this on any others, but the strange thing is we just go in this vertical to the moon, like Bitcoin's price is going in a bull market and then, wow, flatlining. That's weird. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, so maybe they just all like to watch at the same time. Well, here's my channel with only 1,300 subscribers, and you can see I just slowly trend up over time. I have the same type of content that Tangem has. Tangem has content that people will watch forever, right? These videos are meant to be evergreen content, consistently go up. That's mine too, but our graphs, I'll keep going. They look a bit different. Now let's compare this to competitors. The top row is all Trezor videos, and Trezor looks quite similar to me, right? Always slowly trending up with evergreen content. Below that is Ledger. Ledger slowly trending up. But what we don't see as well is that we have a sharp tick up and coming back down. Let's be devil's advocate again. I know you were going to say this and you're going to be like, look, Tangem's so popular. They have way more views than you. They have way more subscribers. This just must be a thing with big YouTubers. Wrong again. I took 4 of my favorite YouTube channels and we can see the trends clear. Danny Gonzalez trends up quickly and then tapers off in a curve. Drew Gooden straight up, tapers off in a curve. Jerry Rig Everything, nice curve. And lastly, we have Marcus Brownlee, straight up and curve up. YouTube views should not look like a right angle. It's bot behavior. So I'll pose another question. Is Tangem really that much more popular than their competitors? Let's take a look. Trezor, 47,000 views gained in 7 days. Ledger, 15,000 views gained in 7 days. Tangem, 1,554,000 views gained in 7 days. All of them upload once a week. So as somebody who's worked in crypto marketing before and understand that bots are a huge part of the game, I truly believe that Tangem is purposely pushing their numbers up to make themselves look more popular than they actually are. Because a new user coming in and seeing this will say, oh wow, Tangem's definitely the most popular hardware wallet. It must be the best based on the numbers. And this is horrible. Next, we move on to some affiliate partners. And for time's sake, I found 3 of the most popular crypto YouTubers pushing Tangem more than others. The biggest Tangem shill is by far Cyberskrilla. Then we have Crypto Casey and Digital Asset News. As a Tangem affiliate, I know that for every Tangem wallet that you sell, you get a flat 5 to 10 USD per sale in USDT on Tron. Now the normal rate is $5, but most sales come at holiday times when you get $10 US per sale, which is quite a significant percentage. We have to highlight that Tangem's choice to use Tron is dodgy. As we can see from a Binance post, Tron is the hotspot for illegal crypto transactions, and it's had this reputation for a while. More than half of illegal crypto transactions in 2024 occur on the Tron network, making up a total value of $26 billion. Why are you using Tron? Moreover, a United Nations report shows that USDT on Tron is the top choice for money laundering and fraud organizations in Southeast Asia. And to further highlight their choice to use Tron, it is very dodgy. Circle, which is the creator of USDC, has discontinued support for the Tron blockchain. I didn't even know this before doing research. They said part of their risk management framework, Circle continually assesses suitable blockchains. The key words here that Circle uses are trusted, transparent, and safe. Tron is apparently none of those, which we can see. And something we'll get into soon is the Russian tie to Tron. There's been 2 Russian state organizations who have used Tron for illegal purposes. We're talking huge payouts with affiliates. Taking a look at my subs, so I have 1.2k subs and I've sold 280 wallets at $2,800. Let's do a little experiment and kind of guess what other influencers are getting paid from selling Tangem. Let's say 5% of Cyberskrilla's users have bought Tangem wallets. That would be 7,100 wallets for $71,000. 10% of his users bought 14,200 wallets for $142,000 US. If we did the same for Digital Asset News, would be about $178,000 or $356,000. And for Crypto Casey, who has the most subs, that would be $338,500 or $677,000 US. Massive, massive opportunity, massive sums of money. If my small uni itsy bitsy channel can generate that much money, these numbers are not big. And if we just look at the number on the top right that I have to highlight, 100,000 of those sold by affiliates is not a big deal. I will say as as a disclaimer, just like companies, creators 100% in crypto use bots and fake views, fake subscribers to boost their numbers. So these could potentially be lower. I highly doubt it. I think they make a ton. Let's start off with Skrilla, by far the biggest Tangem shill there is. In the past 2 years, I'd say he's made dozens and dozens of videos, including his live streams, about Tangem directly. And no matter what video he makes, right? 11 things you should never do when setting up a cold wallet, what to do if random crypto appears in your wallet, how to choose between the best cold wallet for 2026. Look at the description below the video. On most of the videos he makes, he will shill Tangem. And actually, one of my subscribers reached out to me to give me some further inside information I didn't even know about. Skrilla actually made a dedicated Tangem answers page specifically for Tangem. He didn't do this for any other hardware wallet company. And in my opinion, that shows that he is completely biased towards one brand. But for some reason, the channel didn't take off and he switched back to his main channel. As crypto creators, we need to teach the best security practices first, not just ease of use, but best security. Even if it's hard, we need to show the best way to secure things. There was a tweet from Danny at Trezor. Tangem purposely used a Trezor device behind their advertisement to make it look like it's not as secure and safe. Danny went back and made an ad himself where he said, oh, like a screen's better. And I was linked by Ryder's Hardware Wallet CEO, Luis, saying, please take note in your reviews, basically that screen devices are safer. Skrilla refused to state the issues here. He said, there's a wallet out there for everyone. Just keep focusing on making your product even better. It just left a sour taste in my mouth that he said in videos before that one problem with Tangem is that it has no screen. And now he's saying, hey, whatever, anyone can choose whatever they want. It doesn't matter. It's up to the user. And I think the best way to encapsulate this whole affiliation he has with Tangem is to see what other users see. Not even me. I'm not going to read all these comments. You can pause the screen here and take a look. But clearly, people understand he is 100% a Tangem shill where he will, no matter what, always tell people to buy Tangem over everything else. The next creator is Rob from Digital Asset News. I love his channel, actually. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. I think he has excellent information, excellent interviews, but he always shills Tangem as if it's the best cold wallet. And we can see here on 4 separate videos. He has Tangem here. 1 million users, no hacks, 10% off. Preferred cold storage card wallet. 1, it's not really a cold wallet without a screen. 2, the information isn't even updated to the 6 million wallets sold so far. So with his big audience, it would be better if he could show other cold storage solutions as well. And this is speculation, but unless Tangem is actually paying for an ad slot in his video, as we previously saw, Tangem is no stranger for paying for ads. The last creator is Crypto Casey, and she has 3 separate videos within a year about Tangem. In her videos, Crypto Casey never talks about the issues, the potential downfalls to using Tangem over other wallets. And the videos really feel more like advertisements and a sales pitch than they do a review. Going over some exaggerating marketing claims. One is the claim of best crypto wallet, but as we'll explore more later, it lacks a display and open sourcing. Another is protection from all attacks, but secure elements can still be breached. And lastly, no points of vulnerability. This is literally impossible for any connected device. Remember, Tangem app is still connected to the internet. Tangem app still updates. Now, customer support or lack of customer support is probably a better way for us to put it. The only way to contact Tangem is through email. One of the most, if not the most profitable hardware wallet company only supports their users through email. Even Ledger, for all the flack they get, has live support. You can see in the chat on the right, from Monday to Friday, they have live support from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. CET. Having customer support agents isn't expensive. So why are they spending so much money on advertising and not on supporting their users and their customers? Make that make sense to me. In the reviews, honestly, it explains it all. So on Trustpilot, they don't have a bad overall score per se. I think it's like 4.1, which is pretty decent. But interestingly enough, 20% of all of their reviews are 1 star. That is horrible. Here we have a broken card on arrival. We have customer support replying back with someone else's email and order info. Another user unable to unstake Solana and customer support not helping. Someone who purchased a ring and refused to refund the defective product. And support actually closed 2 of those cases saying it was acceptable and expected for the ring. If there's one thing I ever learned working in sales and customer support, it's that the customer is always right. Even if they're wrong, you still do whatever you can to help them because then they'll be your lifelong customers. The more effort you put in, the more you get out. It seems like crypto companies specifically are so out of touch with this obvious thing. I never got my card, still waiting. Somebody having questions with transferring to Tangem, customer support is non-existent. Takes multiple emails to get to the heart of the issue when it doesn't have to. And then we have a customer trying to return it because it didn't work with their phone. Here is an essential point that I think nobody is talking about. And that's, is Tangem really Swiss? We shouldn't even have to be asking this question because everywhere you look, Tangem claims to be a Swiss company. We're Swiss-based, Switzerland, Swiss quality. So they want to be the Swiss Army knife or, the Swiss watch of hardware wallets. But you take a look here at their leadership, taken directly from their website. Do any of these people in top leadership have Swiss names or look Swiss? I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. As somebody who moved to a foreign country, you can emigrate somewhere and become a citizen of Switzerland, for example. I'm going to butcher these names, so we're going to call them Andre 1 and Andre 2. Andre 1 actually graduated from Moscow Aviation Institute. And above that, it says he's based in Switzerland. Okay, he's based there, but he's actually from Russia. And his background is tech and finance. Then we have Andre 2, who actually goes by Andrew. It seems that he's located in Dubai, but when you look at the languages on his LinkedIn, Russian is one of the languages he speaks. So I don't know, it's not computing to me that this is a Swiss team, is it? Because actually in the hardware wallet industry, we have a team who is actually Swiss. Bitbox founders are from Switzerland, and we can see this in their biographies. Jonas Swelly is a Swiss software engineer, Bitcoin developer, and he contributed to the Bitcoin Core project, which is incredible. Then we have Douglas, and he's a former group leader at the Swiss National University ETH Zurich. I know any Tangem shills watching this right now are going to be like, well, why does this matter? I mean, they can claim to be Swiss and not be from Switzerland. Well, we're going to get into it because they make further claims to show that it's Swiss for a better reputation. And other team members I could find are also not Swiss. Anna On-Chain seems to be their head content creator. And the only proof that I can show that she's not Swiss is she claims on her Instagram to be Slavic Brit in Texas. Well, in 1850, some of my ancestors moved from Poland, which was Prussia, to America. And I know that Slavs aren't from Switzerland. And this can also be backed up by AI. Didn't need to be AI, but yes, Russians can be and are commonly referred to as Slavs, Eastern Europeans. And one of the other members I want to highlight is Bikar. I have no idea where Bikar's from, but he is the head mod on Reddit and on Discord. Further proof that this is not a Swiss company, maybe registered Swiss company, but it's not a real Swiss company, is that users found out that their pull requests, which is the way you do code, somebody pushes code and then other people are able to pull the code to add it to, the contribution. So you update the new version of the software. They found that all pull requests are in Russian. And you can see here from the Reddit post, all developers are in Russian. And someone said, yeah, I can see the pull requests on GitHub are in Russian. And we have to go back to this point that they use Tron, and Tron is discontinued and has ties to Russia. Other users had concerns with manufacturing. I actually came across this completely by chance. Tangem wallets are actually sold in stores in America. That to me is insane. One store is Best Buy, and we can see here, I highlighted it, manufactured in Switzerland. It doesn't say designed in Switzerland. It says manufactured. When you see a Swiss watch, it's made in Switzerland. It's not a Swiss watch made in China. That wouldn't technically be a Swiss watch. And as you can imagine, this piqued my curiosity because I found an article stating that Walmart is now selling Tangem as well. And I took a look at Walmart's website, made in Switzerland with the highest security certifications. Does anyone else see the issue with this? Claiming to be made in Switzerland, but you're actually not? Other users thought the wallets were made in Hong Kong or China, and that sparked some debate. Now, they say Hong Kong is where their support comes from, and a lot of shipments come from Hong Kong. It's usually where all things come in from China because it's the connection from China to the rest of the world. Through further digging, which took me forever to just kept going down the rabbit hole and finding more information, I found this interesting website called Leave Russia. Tangem is a software company from Switzerland, quote unquote, on a Leave Russia website. Okay. It says the company is registered in Switzerland and has a local company in Russia. Why would you have a local company in Russia? To be fair, what I could find is that they have other local companies, but it's interesting that one is specifically in Russia. And these chips / microcontrollers in the product are imported to the Russian Federation. Why wouldn't they be imported to Switzerland if they're made in Switzerland? And you see the conflict here. In the last part here, I have to point out, because it kind of relates to what we were talking about earlier, that Tangem is making this new hot wallet feature so they can get more growth in users and in turn more conversions to make more money. Tangem's revenue revenue decreased in 2024 versus 2023 by more than 20%. It's not a small amount. And further going into this, if Tangem is made in China, which some users claim, China has a national intelligence law of the People's Republic of China, which essentially makes Chinese companies legally required to include backdoors upon request. That's a huge issue if we're talking about money and finances, because you could put a backdoor into Tangem's app, you could put a backdoor into Tangem hardware in order to be able to extract funds for the government. And because of this law, the EU is moving to ban some Chinese tech firms. For all speculation where Tangem is made, we can see it on the back of the Tangem wallet. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly there, but it says designed in Switzerland, manufactured or assembled in Indonesia. Another relevant concern that a lot of users have is this focus on fashion over features. We'll get more into the features or lack of features later, but Tangem has made so many of these different versions of the wallet, and it seems like they're really just focusing on making art so that people buy them and can connect with them than to actually fix issues on the app or to make better features such as HD wallets. And these are just some of the designs that Tangem has made over the past few years. Another massive concern that Tangem users have is this Changely partnership. All Changely is like an exchange. You can swap crypto for another type of crypto. And Tangem always puts Changely as the top option whenever you try to swap crypto. And I need to highlight that Tangem is not the only company using Changely. Ledger uses Changely. I think Trezor uses Changely, and a bunch of different crypto apps. Now, the issue with Changely is that it's a third party. We're relying on third parties to do something for us. And because it's a third party, Tangem has no control over what Changely does. Here we can see Changely holding over $600,000 of my funds. Luckily, that one was unlocked after a year, but we have others that weren't. Warning about Changely: 10 Bitcoin frozen for almost a year without any resolution. $5.4 million crypto swap via Ledger Changely frozen 30 days. Still no refund or compensation. In their documents, Tangem claims that they get no money or profit or fees from Changely, which is kind of ridiculous because I found on Changely's website, if you look at the very bottom part here, API integration equals 0.5 base, that goes to Changely, of 0.5% base fee, plus a custom fee set by the partner. Now what Tangem does is they take Changely's API and they plug it into their app. Tangem can charge whatever percentage fee they want. And if you're a new user, like most Tangem users are, you aren't able to look at the blockchain information. I haven't had time to do this, but my theory is that Tangem is including an additional fee without telling people. And apart from this fee, it's not even the worst part. Tangem has complete lack of accountability for their partners. One comment here said they're giving permission to a third party to freeze your asset, and then good luck with your mission, no help. Tangem's response here is, hello, no third party can freeze your funds without your authorization. When you're making a swap, you agree to the third party's terms and acknowledge that it's possible that further information might be needing for AML rules. Feel free to reach out to their support. It's not our fault. We would never do that. You agreed to their terms, but it's on your platform. You're the one who put Changely on your platform. And these users, if I go back, these users have been giving multiple rounds of know your customer information, like their address, the proof that they need, their ID. They've done this multiple times and still Changely won't give them their funds. How is that not Tangem's problem? Tangem's newest banking feature is Tangem Pay. And spoiler alert, I think this has been their plan from the beginning. A lot of people criticize Tangem Pay because one, it took forever to get the licensing. Two, a lot of users thought they would be able to use it, but their location isn't able to use it yet as well. So here we had a user able to set it up. They put in the funds, but then it asked for KYC again. And the user asked the question, so can I be locked out of my card and funds anytime? Let's just watch a few videos of our favorite influencers talking about Tangem Pay.
We will still be able to pay our rent, mortgage, bills. We can still buy food, for crying out loud.
Oh,
it is financial guerrilla warfare out there. With Tangem Pay, we are using their rails without being subject to their
It's a Visa card.
The banks that issue traditional
It's a
cards.
Visa card.
It allows us to execute the strategy of becoming unbankable without having to go live in the woods and barter with gold coins.
Now, I have so much suspicion when someone tells me the banks are the problem and we're setting up something that's going to get away from the banks. And this is why.
And normally we trust people that we think are acting in our best interest.
Yeah.
But what if these people are not acting in our best interest? What if their interest is exactly the opposite of ours? Should we continue giving them our money, or should we take the money and put it somewhere else? So for 700 years of banking, There was never an option. The only thing you could do is give it to a bank.
You don't think about it.
That's right. You don't think about it. Just give it to the bank. So what they want you to do, oh, banks are bad. Put it in Tangem. Okay. Let's get some more information of our favorite Tangem influencer and see what really is Tangem. I mean, I'm so confused. Is this a service to unbank us so we can use crypto whenever we want?
Tangem Pay, again, is completely self-custodial, which means no third party controls your crypto.
Third parties.
It doesn't give any third party access or control
No third party
over your
access.
crypto.
Great.
As users, we still remain in full control.
Yep.
Which is why
Full control.
this product is going to be revolutionary, in my opinion.
Revolutionary product. We're getting away from the banks. They have been stealing money from us for thousands of years, according to Mashinsky. Put all your money in Tangem. Is anyone else getting a different vibe here? Because, well, this isn't true. All you need to do is take a simple look at Tangem's website to ensure compliance. So, okay, compliance sounds like a bank term. A Tangem Pay user is required to complete a KYC verification. That sounds like a bank. I need to give you my ID, probably my address. The data is handled by a secure, independent issuing partner. So Tangem isn't collecting your data. Nope, Tangem would never collect your data, but they would allow somebody else to collect your data. Do you see the irony here? Now, who is actually taking your data? Tangem Pay Visa card is issued by Third National, a licensed card issuer and Visa network partner. Our card program is managed in partnership with Rain and supported by trusted partners, including Visa, SumSub, Elliptic. And if you look at Elliptic, they are transaction monitoring. They are looking at all your transactions. This is not something that is anonymous and away from the banks. Even worse, I don't know why anyone would ever choose to use this product, and this is why. So once you send your USDC on Polygon, they're controlled by private keys, one of which is held by the user, who's you, and the other is held by Rain. What? Rain is holding our private keys? Our independent issuing partner. Rain can only move funds that the user has already made with payment card. Rain also has the ability to freeze the card itself. Well, that's not what Cyber Skrilla said. That's not what Crypto Casey said. They said this is revolutionary. It's away from the banks. We completely control our funds at all times. All you need to do is read their website. This is a bank. And again, this shows that Tangem has zero accountability. Tangem never sees or stores your identity data. In a way, it would be better if you did have our data, because then we wouldn't have to rely on 7 different third parties who have our information. They call it siloed compliance model, bridging regulatory obligations with the ethos of crypto anonymity. How is any of this anonymous? And again, it goes back to Tangem wanting to wash their hands clean. As Tangem so elegantly stated previously, no third party can freeze your funds without your authorization. You signed up for the product, you put your money in, it's your fault. It's not Tangem's fault. Tangem would never do that to you. Now, the second huge security issue that really pushed me off Tangem originally was the private keys in emails. And according to Tangem, the reasoning for this bug was to improve app performance on certain devices. We introduced an advanced NFC logging mechanism. Unfortunately, this mechanism contained a bug that was not detected during initial code reviews or testing. We'll get to this later, but Tangem's whole thing about security is that you can't upgrade the firmware. But that doesn't protect you from bad software. And the situation got pretty heated in the community. Users were saying that Tangem was denying this was happening, with mods also claiming that there were no private keys found in logs. Let's watch Tangem explain one of their biggest claims.
Number 4, there's no emails, there's no logins, there's nothing for us to potentially give away information because it doesn't exist. There's no centralized place that we can store information. All the information is kept only on your cards. You have 3 of them, let's remind ourselves, so you can be sure that if you lose one, you still have 2 as backups. There is no centralized system, there's no KYC, we know nothing about you.
You hear that? They know absolutely nothing about us. But here's my most recent Tangem review, and you can see that when you send a support email, there's more information included than you'd think. Mentioned in many reviews, the brand only has email support, which is quite surprising for such a successfully selling and popular. Well, it's a bit odd that a company knows nothing about me, but when I send a support email, I mean, you know my phone model number, that's never happened in support. You know my OS version number. Why is all this information automatically appearing in a support email? The worst part about this was the cover up. The original post was from a user named Ravzi, and you can see on the right hand side, deleted by user. Luckily, all the comments still stayed. But another user asked, why did you delete your post? Like, what's happening? And on the bottom left, we can see Ravzi said, I was getting a lot of people messaging me and trying to log into my account and social media account, freezing my account in the process temporarily. So all this user wanted to do was highlight a bug and get it fixed, bring attention reason when Tangem really doesn't reach back out, only through email support, which is very inconsistent, as we'll also see later, and they attacked. Now, was this Tangem itself going out and doing it, or was this users on their behalf? We don't know. There's no reason to speculate, but this is horrendous behavior. After finally admitting the bug, Tangem really downplayed it, and they said fewer than 0.1% could have potentially been impacted under highly specific circumstances. A very particular set of circumstances, huh? But another user asks, how many users had their keys written in plain text to their phones in a log file? How many opened their email app with their keys attached, saving them to the email's cache or their mail server's draft folder and didn't hit send? So this information, if you open up the email at the wrong time through all these unique circumstances, your information, your private keys are sitting in your email. There's no way this could have been 0.1% of users, as we'll see soon. So let's say it was 1% of users, and we have 3 million users total. That would be 30,000 users that are affected by this bug. So do those 30,000 users not matter? I guess. And then we have the naysayers. Why is YouTube Shilling United not saying anything? Tangem already responded to this. Either you're incompetent chucks or trying to farm likes to boost your self-esteem, keg. Because that's clearly what users were trying to do. I wouldn't worry, honestly, even though it affected a very, very small group. Still, no one lost anything. No one lost anything yet. People, stop stressing out. Nothing happened. Nothing. You're all overreacting. And then the comment below, it's school holidays? Kids have nothing else to do? Why are you blindly defending a company that made a huge bug that exposed people's information? I'm not going to read all these one by one, but there's plenty of proof through customer interactions that this was happening a lot. The only one I want to highlight is in the bottom right by Satoshi Justice. Today, the app invited me to rate my experience with Tangem, which automatically opened up customer support, and I was shocked to find out that just as the OP described, my private keys were attached in the logs. So to me, this is huge proof that it's way more than 0.01%. In Tangem's response, there's no real impact, as a user would need to both generate a seed phrase and immediately send a support request in the app. But as we can see in the previous bottom message, look, they asked me to rate my experience and it went straight to customer support emails. Whoops. You know that when people are throwing out ledger jokes for their poor handling of customer information, we have a pretty big problem on our hands. And we have to ask the question, can you trust audits? I mean, how do you know that they're actually checking the bugs in the code that needs to be checked in the best manner? Because Tangem uses audits to prove that their code is unbreakable, that it could never fail. But interestingly enough, they're only auditing the code that they don't release publicly. And in the bottom right, they also got an audit for the new mobile hot wallet. It says Cure53 has audited products like Mozilla, Coinbase, NordVPN, but just because you audited those companies, does it mean that your product is foolproof? Not really. To pair with the exaggerating marketing claims, they also have a lot of misleading security claims. The biggest one of all, which is honestly just ridiculous in my opinion, is guaranteed for 25 plus, the audacity to say plus, 25 plus years. You would think, okay, Tangem's just going to guarantee this plastic card physically can, hold up. The physical material can hold up for 25 years. No, not just the card. 25-year warranty Tangem is built to last, both physically and technologically. They think the technology in this card will last 25 years. Don't debit cards and credit cards expire in like 5 to 10 years? It's complete gaslighting that this card will last for 25 years. How? And I challenge any Tangem shill in the comments. What technology have you used for 25 years straight that has stood the test of time? If you tell me you're still using your old Game Boy Color from when you were 10, I honestly don't believe you. And I think the best comparison or analogy I can make is Bitcoin's history itself. Just like AI, crypto is one of the fastest paced, fastest moving industries in the world. Technology is notorious for moving quickly. Let's not forget that the Genesis block, or the first block of Bitcoin, was in September 2009. With simple math, I'm going to explain this. It is January 2026. 2026 minus 2009 is 17 years. Bitcoin's whole history is 17 years. This card is going to last longer than Bitcoin has lasted so far. For all those who want to come at me in the comments, I'm going to put this to you in clear, very, very clear, simple context. Luckily for us, the internet has a lot of screenshots. And in 2015, these were the top 10 coins. I want you to look and see how many coins you actually know. For me, I know Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, and I know Stellar and Dogecoin. What were the top 5 coins the next 2 years? As we can see, it's changed a lot. 2019 comes and we have a lot of new coins again. 2021, more changes. 2023, and recently in 2025, we have a new list of coins. My point is that this technology moves extremely fast. Companies, they come in and they do well. They'll change if they don't adapt. Things move so quickly. I'd say one of the 2 biggest security claims that Tangem has is that they don't have firmware firmware updates. For anyone that doesn't know, firmware is the physical card itself. This physical part is no updates, and that's what makes it last for 25 years. It's important to note that there aren't many other companies that don't allow firmware updates, but let's see why Tangem doesn't do it. According to their website, there's 4 reasons. One is no risk of interference, such as hidden backdoors. Second one, no forced updates to install potentially dangerous updates. A one-time audit, which confirms and certifies when it's released that it's reliable. And verification of firmware integrity. This allows users to independently verify the authenticity of the firmware. Now, to me, Tangem's cons are pretty interesting. We have insider attacks, social engineering, employee coercion, lack of quality control, and no independent audit for each version. If we look at number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, they all have to do with trusting employees. Tangem's biggest complaint here is that allowing firmware means that employees can manipulate the system. The question I pose is, why doesn't Tangem trust their employees? All other companies that make products trust their employees. So what are we missing here? And it's also worrying if that something really, really bad happened to Tangem firmware. They would have no ability to change it, and that could be drastic to customers' funds. Another point about the security is that the current design of Tangem cards don't allow for some new features. And one of these features was multiple wallet addresses, leading users to kind of give up on this feature altogether. The next security claim is that Tangem is fully open source. This is a lie. They're only partially open source. And it's hilarious to point out the hypocrisy of Tangem here, because they say Tangem doesn't collect personal data, but instead they let companies collect your data for them. To clarify on the partial open sourcing, Tangem software on their GitHub is completely open source, but their hardware, including the secure element chip from Samsung, is closed source. This is true for every hardware wallet that doesn't make their own secure element chip. You need to sign an NDA agreement. The only company I know of so far that's made their own chip is Trezor, with the Trezor Safe 7. Another part of Tangem's security claims is that they're safer than other wallet options. Here we can see some questionable blog articles from Tangem. All of these were released within a week of each other, so it was a very clear attack on their competitors. The first one here is top 5 Trezor alternatives in 2025. In the FAQs below, it says, is Tangem safer than Trezor? Yes, they actually claim to be safer than a company that is 100% open source. It's literally shocking. And the only reason they claim it to be safer is because Trezor gives you a seed phrase. Ironically, the same exact article was posted 3 days later, but this time top 5 Ledger alternatives in 2025. And again, at the very bottom, what would you know? Is Tangem safer than Ledger? Yes. Why? Because Ledger gives you a seed phrase. Oh, those pesky seed phrases, they are terrible. Why would I want the keys to recover my crypto? It keeps going. Another similar article about SafePal. Is Tangem safer than SafePal? Yes. I don't think we have to ask why, because they only have one reason. And the irony of all of these blog articles comes from this one FAQ, which is at the bottom of all these blogs. Is there a fully offline crypto wallet? Yes. Tangem is 100% offline and does not use USB, Bluetooth, or Wi-Fi, making it truly air-gapped. The app is connected to the internet. We don't use offline blockchains. It's always connected to the internet. But interestingly enough, Tangem did like some other wallets. For example, is Tangem more secure than Keystone? Both wallets are secure options, but obviously Tangem's better because it doesn't have a screen. Is Tangem better than Elipal? Elipal is highly secure, but requires a recovery phrase, of course. So it's very clear here in Tangem's marketing who their enemies are. Screens, which allow us for very clear transactions. Bluetooth, which a newer version of Bluetooth encrypts the data safely. Wi-Fi, which we can all understand why Wi-Fi is not a good idea. USB, which I've used USB devices, USB hardware wallets for about 7 years now, and I've never had an issue. And seed phrases, because you're an idiot and you're gonna lose it. But again, it's always hypocritical with Tangem, because why offer a seed phrase option if it's so bad? The best analogy I can make here is, would you trust a digital door to your house? Especially if you had like gold, silver, crypto, all these assets and wealth in your house. Which one are you going to choose to, keep your stuff safe? The way we look at this is that a seed phrase is the analog version, right? A seed phrase is the actual key, but Tangem cards are basically like a digital key. And we use that app to talk to the device. Now think again, which one would you use if you had $1 million in assets in your house? Well, what if I told you that this door was closed source? And it also can't be updated if something bad happens. Tangem refuses to explain that a seed phrase can be imported to any wallet. At any time, I can take my 12 or 24 word seed phrase, plug it into a wallet, and recover my funds. It doesn't matter what wallet that is. I can always have access to my crypto. With Tangem Wallet, you have the card. You can only use Tangem app. But new users don't understand this until it's too late. So what are you going to do? You have this card and you can't use it. Your money is on the blockchain and it's stored in this card, but the card can't connect to anything. We'll get into that soon, but something more important first. Tangem does not have a screen, which they claim is a security bonus. It's a benefit to humanity to not have to use a screen. How refreshing. But this video is going to simply show you that screens are so important, especially if you're paying attention.
If you were to just stick in the address you're going to pay to and hit send, you'd actually get no indication that you're sending it to the wrong address.
This is
if
like
you're just
Tangem
using
wallet.
a software wallet. So with this wallet, this software wallet that's unlocked
Tangem's
and working and
wallet.
ready to go, if I hit send right now, it will simply send it to the wrong address. Whereas with my hardware wallet, even if I don't hit preview, when I hit send, it will say confirm it on my ledger.
Right.
And if I look on my ledger now, the pay to address is completely different to what is just here on the screen, which to me, I'm like, no, we're not going to send that.
So if you didn't catch it, there was malware that automatically sends to a different address than you want to, but that wouldn't be picked up unless you had a screen. When you have a screen device, it will show the address you want to send to on the device and you match it to the other device. You're able to see if they're the same you send. If they don't, there's something wrong with the transaction. I think a lot of you don't understand that Trezor and Ledger aren't actually enemies. And they actually had a recent podcast talk, which was really interesting. You should check it out. And I thought that this quote, I never thought of it this way about Tangem.
For me, it's even worse than having only a software wallet because it gives a false sense of security.
It gives a false sense of security. So you think you're safe with Tangem because you're putting NFC on the device, but actually you're not able to see if the transaction is correct when you send it. Somebody recently, quote unquote, upgraded from the Ledger Nano X to the Tangem Ring. And I said, just be careful storing too much crypto on there because it's screenless, meaning you blindside every transaction. Huge security risk if you have malware on your device. And then Tangem commented on my reply saying, do hardware wallets need inbuilt screens? Please take a look. And again, they give their usual spiel. You know, private keys are stored on the card, which means there has no internet connection, which I'm going to prove wrong as well. Tangem cards are connected to the internet no matter what when they're generated. This word's too long for most people, myself included, but HD accounts or hierarchical deterministic accounts are something that have been wanted by users for years on Tangem. And Tangem, for some reason, just refuses to add them. Here's why it's a problem that they don't have this system in place. So some of you may have used Venmo, which you can see here, or something similar. In Hong Kong, we use PayMe to send money quickly to people. These can be really small microtransactions. Now, every time you send on these apps, it's actually private. You have your bank account and nobody can see your balance. And I can't see when my friends send money to other friends or to buy stuff. Those transactions are private. Here's the problem with Tangem. Every time you send a transaction, it's only coming from one wallet address. Every single time it's the same wallet address and I can see their account balance, their transaction history. I can track it back to see over time everything that's happened. It doesn't take a genius to see the problems with this. And the point has to be brought up that this will be the same with Tangem Pay. With Tangem Pay, we only have one wallet address for the USDC on Polygon. Every time you buy stuff, that information is public. That doesn't mean that only those third parties are tracking your transactions, but anybody can track those transactions, including advertisers, including different companies. Whoever wants that information can gather that. And just one slip up, just one minor slip up from the third party means they can connect your wallet address. You only have one wallet address to a name. If they get that identity and name, bam, that is so bad. Wow, please don't use Tangem Pay. This just sounds like a terrible idea. Now, why HD accounts are so beautiful and built for anonymity. Everything that crypto stands for is in HD accounts. It allows for ultimate privacy and security on a public blockchain. So once you generate a private key, you can also generate different branches of that master seed. So if we see here on the right side, it branches off into separate ones and then separate ones into separate ones. So we can have 100 wallet addresses. And every single time on Ledger, Trezor, some of these other hardware wallet devices, we will get a new wallet address for each transaction, which completely shields you from people tracking to see the total amount that you have. So obviously this isn't a problem for new users. They don't really care about it. But actually this has been promised since 2024. Tangem has so much money. They have a lot of employees and they seem to have, decent developers. Why haven't they been able to implement this? Perhaps this has to do with the way that Tangem generates seeds inside the wallet. But the question is, why have these HD accounts not been added? And we can see users are growing really frustrated to the point where they're buying other devices. I mean, I got tired of the same reply again and again, so I bought a cold card. One of my issues with Tangem uses the same address over and over again. I had my friend say, wow, you got a nice amount of crypto, or the other depending which one we use or trade. So obviously they get to see my total balance, as I explained earlier. I got tired of the stay tuned for more info, and it's not really clear yet. Messages we've been getting this subreddit when asking, so I opened a support ticket. They kept saying it's on the roadmap, stay tuned, and they also claim that Tangem is already an HD wallet? I've been asking a question for weeks and Tangem is unwilling to answer this question. A huge security concern with Tangem is that they generate seed phrases online. Here we can see how the system works on my review. Given the option of a 12 or 24 word seed phrase, let's choose 24 words for extra protection. As you saw, all seed phrases are generated inside an online connected device, essentially making it a hot wallet. If anyone had malware on my device, they could easily see all my seed and then just take my crypto. Now to counter this, Tangem added an offline setup. I had to put that in quotes because it's offline. And the main way they do this is by switching on airplane mode. How genius is that, switching on airplane mode? The hypocrisy just goes so deep with this company. You have to scan the cards online first. So you scan the cards online, then you turn on airplane mode. Then you generate the seed phrase with airplane mode, set up the rest of the wallet, and then turn it back on for the app. So please tell me how this is an offline setup, because it clearly isn't, and I hate when we're getting gaslighted, especially from affiliate number one. As we foreshadowed earlier, discussing the difference between seed phrases and the way that Tangem sets up their backups, their 3-card backups in the card, there is a huge reliance on the Tangem app, and users are rightly concerned with this feature. It's actually their biggest marketing claim over competition, and they use it all the time. Tangem has an entire blog article focusing on this scenario, how your wallet works without Tangem, apocalypse scenario. So Tangem's claim here is that you can actually download the Tangem app locally with an APK file, which simply stated is just the format for downloading Android apps. And after downloading, you'll be able to use the Tangem app just like normal, like there's no problems at all. And to back up their claims, they state, however, if you have mobile app developer friends or can code yourself, you can develop your own app for interaction with the Tangem wallet from the published code and even improve it if you want. Wow. Not only can we download it locally and run it and use our Tangem cards, but we can add to it. Sounds too good to be true. The only issue is it doesn't work. Multiple users have tried and found out the hard way that Tangem doesn't allow local builds to interact with the card. We can download the app, run it locally, but you can't use the card with the app. So I don't need to explain how bad this is. If you're in a scenario where Tangem app goes down, you're stuck with these cards when you should have just had a seed phrase from the get-go. Please explain to me how a seed phrase isn't better in this scenario. There was an interesting Twitter thread that went on between these two users, and they were just appalled by what was going on in the documents, and they actually found out that the licensing for the cards was changed on July 16th, 2025. And I'm not sure if you can see it clearly. If you look on the very, very bottom in the green, it says, notice, this is not an open source license. I thought Tangem was open source. This software, including all source code, documentation, and accompanying files, the software stored in this repository is the proprietary and confidential information of Tangem. Wow. I mean, there you have it. They say the app is open source. You try to take it and download it locally. Oh, only Tangem has permission. And it got so bad that they actually took down their libraries. And obviously I was curious myself, so I clicked on a link, which could have been a scam, which could have stolen all my crypto. It didn't. And it took me to a link that was broken, completely gone. We need to also point out brute force attacks. Ledger Donjon, which is Ledger's security team, discovered a new online brute force attack against Tangem cards. It's called a tearing attack. So it basically allows attackers to bypass the card's security mechanism, enabling them to try approximately 2.5 passwords per second, significantly increasing the time to crack passwords, especially weak ones. So though this wasn't a crazy bug or anything, it does highlight that a lot of users use really weak passwords, and Ledger suggests that you should have at least 8 characters, at least 1 digit, 1 letter, 1 symbol, and disallow weak passwords such as password. And it's not such a big worry because they would need your cards, so just don't lose your cards, although, you know, Tangem says it's okay to lose your cards. And it's pretty expensive, I think around 5,000 USD to run this attack. So let's highlight what I call the 3-card delusion. Now there's nothing wrong with multi-sig and storing crypto in different locations, but I think for most users, this is just out of the question. And here's why. The whole point of Tangem coming with 3 cards is that you have cards you can place in different locations, or if you lose one, you can quickly, you know, back up your crypto. So that would mean putting one in, you know, a security deposit, a safety deposit box, maybe burying one in the backyard, you know, if you even have a yard and like me, and keeping one at your desk, you know, to use for quick transactions. But I think like me, I can't afford a safety deposit box. I don't have a yard to bury Tangem wallet. Another claim that the company and, you know, Tangem shills say is you can store these cards in 3 different geolocations. Okay, so you're going to tell me that most people have access to, you know, North America, to Europe, and to Asia? I mean, you're honestly laughing if you think people can actually do this successfully with physical cards. And then we have the potential of loved ones. Well, well, you know, you can store it with a family member, with friends, and yourself. I don't have any family members where I live in this city. I don't have any friends that I would trust holding the wallet with. I know I can trust myself, and that's why I actually prefer the seed phrase. The harsh reality, and I would say this is for most people, is that all 3 cards will end up in the same box in somebody's drawer, somebody's cabinet, somewhere away on their desk at all times. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, because if you look at me, I have a box, Tangem, I have 3 cards here. They have never moved from this box. Look, it even goes so far to the extent you think this box is empty. Look at this. I made a very handy little secret door. Bop. You think this is empty? Oh, nope. Under the Tangem box. Look at that, a secret hiding space. 3 more Tangem cards. I'm storing 6 Tangem cards in the same location. You can let me know down below. Is it the same for you? Because I just have a feeling that most people, 1, are lazy, 2, don't have access to spread these cards out. And if you spread it all out in the same house, what's the point? What I'm proving here is that by having 3 cards and keeping it all in the same place, 6 cards, it's actually the same thing as a seed phrase, all stored in the same location. At least a seed phrase, we can back it up with metal with something like CryptoTag, and it will actually survive a house fire. These cards, I hate to break it, Tangem, plastic ain't surviving a house fire. And just a minor point that I think makes Tangem worse than competitors is that there's no desktop option. A lot of people prefer to interact with crypto on the desktop, and NFC is obviously not compatible with computers. I know this is an extremely long video, the longest video I've personally ever made, but the last point is the Tangem echo chamber. There's 2 creators which have been my inspiration for making this video. One is Bitcoin Not Crypto, and the other is Sovereign Money, and they both pointed out very important security flaws in Tangem. And the problem here, as you can assume with an echo chamber, is that anyone who speaks out is attacked. And this couldn't be more clear than when the user Ravzi had to delete his post after being attacked by Tangem shills, forcing him to delete the post about an important security flaw. Here's what the comments were on these videos. Tangem has never been hacked. It's been the best ever for me and a couple million other users. 8 million wallets sold so far, no hacks. Could be worse. You're right. It could be worse, and I really hope it doesn't get worse. Tangem is perfect for someone simply stacking sats. Not everyone's life focuses for Bitcoin every day. Give them a break. What's Tangem's newest wallet? You can have multiple wallets in one app. I love the name Tantrum. I think that should be Tangem's new name. Sorry, that was a cheap shot, but I think you're being a bit pedantic. This guy needs to watch Cyberskrill on Tangem. So much wrong with this video. You can use a passphrase with Tangem. I love Tangem. I am using it and I don't see any problem. Can't say this with a straight face. I have far more faith in Tangem than I do with money in a bank. Bro, you would love Tangem Pay. I have to tell you about it. It's this revolutionary new thing where you completely debank yourself and you can put in crypto and then a third party can freeze it at any time. It's not like a bank at all. Tangem is the best wallet in my opinion, and just stick with how Tangem intended and leave the seed phrases in the card wallet. I don't have a virus on my phone, so I'm safe. You know what the problem with the virus is? That sometimes you don't know you have a virus. I have Tangem wallet and set up seed phrase too, and my wallet is safe. Tangem has produced over 400 million cards/accounts, and not a single one has been hacked. Where are people pulling these numbers from? It's not about if it's seedless or seed phrase. It's about you, how responsible you are, period. Nothing wrong with Tangem. This comment just highlights a lot of things wrong with crypto security. It is up to you, but actually the company can also hurt you. I think we've seen this time and time again that companies can hurt you. So to think that only you are responsible is ludicrous. There's no firmware on Tangem cards to update. Oh, great. That sounds good. Probably paid by a competitor. My favorite one. I want to end this video with a few key takeaways. Are 5 bankers in it for the little guy? Everyone's acting like Tangem's gonna unbank the world and wow, this is so revolutionary. But haven't you taken a closer look at their website? I mean, these are 10-year-old research skills. Look, Andre, finance. Patrick, corporate lawyer. Juan, finance. Andre, finance. Can you guess what Fernando's from? Finance. Do they have your best interest in mind? Please tell me how Tangem at all, in any way, is revolutionary change from banks when it's made by bankers for people to use similar to the banking system, aka Tangem Pay. And I posed the question, just like I posed to One Key to improve their quality, is it too late to change? I mean, the purpose of the image here is, are Tangem leaders kissing the butt of investors? Or is it all intentional in the first place? I think it's the latter. Instead of focusing on user security and safety, Tangem's focusing on growth, and that is just horrible. And there's no better way than to end on this quote. The only thing worse than a liar is a liar that's also a hypocrite. Time and time again in this entire video, we've proven that Tangem is not just a liar, but they are a hypocrite. They'll state one thing, lie about it, and then do it anyway, over and over and over again. So I hope this video has been helpful. I'm not saying that by using Tangem Wallet, you're going to get your money or funds stolen tomorrow. But what I am saying is that based on all the factual evidence, change from Tangem Wallet to an actual cold wallet device that has a screen. And for some reason, after all the facts are presented and you do your own research, you still want to use Tangem, please just don't store too much on Tangem and use multiple devices. Don't store all your crypto on one device. That is the worst thing you could ever do. So if you want links to actual cold wallets below, check the description. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate that you took the time to watch to the end here, because I've put so much effort into this and it was a lot of fun to research and make. And if you have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them below. I'll always encourage a healthy back and forth debate. Thanks for watching and catch you in the next one.